The American Revolution is one of the most important events in world history. It's the event that led to the birth of the United States of America, the first modern constitutional democracy in the world. But how did it start? So how did this revolution begin? Well, it began with a powder keg. You see, the American colonies were becoming increasingly frustrated with the policies of the British government, especially regarding taxation without representation. The British were attempting to raise revenue to pay off debts incurred during the French and Indian War, and they saw the American colonies as an easy target. The problem was that the Americans didn't see it that way. They had no voice in Parliament, and they argued that they shouldn't be taxed by a government in which they had no representation. This tension came to a head in 1770 with the passage of the Stamp Act, which placed a tax on all printed materials. The act was fiercely resisted by the colonists, who organized boycotts and protests. The British government responded with even more force, which only escalated the conflict. By 1776, the situation had become so dire that the Second Continental Congress was called. This meeting of colonial leaders met in Philadelphia to discuss the growing crisis. It was here that the Declaration of the Causes and Necessity of Taking Arms was adopted, which outlined the colonists' grievances against the British government and their decision to take up arms in defense of their rights. The war would go on for 6 years, with the American colonies ultimately winning the support of France and Spain. The turning point of the war would come in 1781 with the Battle of Yorktown. This battle resulted in the surrender of British General Cornwallis and effectively ended the war. The Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783, officially recognizing the United States as a free and independent nation. The war had been won, and the Americans had created a new form of government based on the principles of democracy and the rule of law. The United States became the first modern constitutional democracy in the world, a beacon of freedom that would inspire other nations to follow in its footsteps. The American Revolution was a monumental event in world history. It not only created the first modern democracy, but it also set the stage for the future of the world. The ideas of democracy and self-government spread like wildfire across the globe. The French Revolution, which began just 2 years after the American Revolution, was directly inspired by the American example. In the coming decades, many other nations would follow in the footsteps of the United States, adopting democratic reforms and constitutions of their own. The legacy of the American Revolution can still be seen today in the many democracies that exist around the world.